and like hooking him up with this experience. And I'll say this, the seats were reasonable. I paid $50. I bought our 2 tickets, and then I'm going to give away my secret of how I get better seats to everybody on the show. So I look on the map and see the shittiest $500 seats. So those are usually towards the bottom and sort of off at an angle on a post. People never buy those, because if you're going to spend top dollar for a ticket, you're going to sit more towards the middle. Remarkably, I moved him down to like the 3rd row right off the floor. It's like, these seats are crazy. They must belong to someone. I said, nope, they're going to be vacant. And they were vacant, and they were amazing seats, and we had a great view of the fight. And he showed up just to see the tail end of their kid fight, and then he got the co-main and the main. Co-main is the only fight that really didn't live up to anything, which was Moran and Pedraza. I mean, they just basically pummeled the shit out of each other. I don't think there was a lot of anything technical to it. Right. So I will go through it. I came in right on the light heavyweight fight, and this is how they structured it. The first fight I saw was Steve Nelson against Deshaun Webster. Steve Nelson is their prospect at 10-0. He got a win. It was a brutal fight to watch. I don't know enough about Steve Nelson as one of their prospects, nor did I put it. I didn't even open up BoxRec. I didn't even do homework while I was watching the fight. I just kept thinking, ponderously slow light heavyweights. They were really slow for light heavyweights. Then we moved to the junior welterweight NABF title. Maxim Dedeshev. I'm going to try to say his name once. Dedeshev. D-A-D-S-H-E-V. Shamalama Ding Dong. All right? Maxim Shamalama Ding Dong against Dorelis Perez. Now, here's how you know that it's straight out of the Lomachenko camp. This dude is 10-0 with 8 knockouts. And Dorelis Perez was 33-3 with 21 KOs. Wow. And they were fighting for the NABF title, like literally in the middle of this card. And remarkably, Maxim from the Lomachenko camp wins the fight. We move on. They then randomly stuck into the middle of this thing. Okay, let me pull it up. I don't want it to set. Where are we? They randomly stuck. No, it was Shakur Stevens next, right? Your Olympian. He looked okay. He fought a guy named Mesquita from Brazil, who was 16-1 with 14 KOs. Shakur took him out in a couple of rounds. No big deal. Then he took him out so fast that they brought the swing fight in, which was Gabriel Flores and Jorge Rojas. Right? Yeah. And that's your... Did I get this right? Flores is your kid. No, he went out after Benavides. I'm one fight too soon. All right. This is terrible airspace. Do you have any comments here at all, Andrew?
No, Lee, I wasn't there, so I'm actually leaning towards you right now to help to pull this off.
All right. No, does any of this make sense? The words that are coming out of my mouth? Like, I'm just like reading shit that I have on a pad that.
You just gotta tell us what you've seen, bro. That's all.
Benavides Rojas. All right.
No,
the WBA. So this was the WBA World Super Eliminator, right? Benavides is already the interim champion. Okay. So this makes you the real number one guy if they actually ever have a WBA welterweight fight, I guess. I don't understand why the guy who's the interim champion is fighting for the top spot in a WBA eliminator fight. It doesn't make any sense to me. Does it make sense to you?
No, the whole thing doesn't anymore with the WBA. They're trying to cut back, give them a little bit of time. They have taken some belts off of, out of the circuit, I guess you would say. They're trying to limit down the champions again. But no, the whole thing never made sense. Super champ, regular champ, and
interim champ, and number one contender.
Matter of fact, I don't know, Lee, when you tell someone, "Oh, I'm the super champ," it sounds almost fake, right?
It is fake.
Exactly. It was never a good idea.
Fortunately, my brother-in-law never asked those questions. He's like, how's the number one? I said, I don't know. I don't understand. Like, I was catching him up. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how the number one guy is fighting, because he came in right on the tail end of this fight, and I was like trying to explain. I'm like, he's the number one guy, but he's also the interim champion.
And I'm telling you, Lee, there was never an issue when they announced two fighters with saying one of them is the number one ranked fighter in the world. That sounds hard, right? When you tell someone, oh yeah, I'm ranked number one in the world, I have to beat the champ, though. There's a champ, right? That's fine. Why can't they just leave it with that? No, they got to bring all these belts. They got to shine them up. Everyone has belts staring at each other now in the ring, right? You got some fighters have 5 fucking titles behind them, ain't never won one.
Right.
They're all interim belts, but they look pretty.
So Shakur Stevens takes his guy out in a couple of rounds. That is when they stuck in their kid. So for those of you who don't know, do you know the Gabe Flores story? Do you know about prospect Gabriel Flores, Andrew?
Yeah. Yes.
He is from New York, right? He's the guy who got signed to a pro contract at 15.
Yes, the young kid. Yes, sir.
Right. So they stuck him in to fill time in between the Benavidez fight and after the Shakur Stevens fight. So all of these things sort of happened. My brother-in-law asked another really good question. Good, neutral. He's like, how much does a guy like Flores make? I said, well, technically he's under contract. So technically I can't imagine he's making more than $5 or $10 for this fight. But I think it's an arbitrary amount. Like, he was asking qualified questions.
Right.
I said, look, he signed a really big contract. Like, he is that good. And Benavidez, by the way.
And this is the kid. This kid is from Stockton, California, Lee. He's 5'9". Gabriel Felix Flores Jr. is who you're talking about. 8-0-5.
Yeah, that's him. He's now 8-0-5.
Yes, sir.
He's now out in New York. He's a Philadelphia Eagles fan, which makes less. Or Shakur, an Eagles fan.
Yeah, you're talking Shakur, bro. You're talking Shakur, I think, because this kid is from Stockton. I remember this Flores kid. He's from California. You're talking Shakur Stevenson.
Is Shakur from... Okay, Shakur's from New York. There was a confusing thing with somebody who came in. Either Shakur or... Yeah, it was probably Shakur. Shakur came in. He's from New York. He fights out of New York, right? But he's got like a Philadelphia Eagles eagle on his stuff. I was very confused. I don't like it when the ring gear doesn't match what I need to know. It's very confusing to me. And then we had a ponderously long 45-minute break till we got to the 6:30 main events. So at 6:30, we then endured 45 national anthems. We started with Australia. I think they did them in alphabetical order. There were national anthems literally for every country ever. Every country. I think we did the Russian national anthem even too. I don't know.
And Shakur Stevenson is from Newark, New Jersey.
Newark, New Jersey, and he was a Philadelphia Eagles fan.
Well, they just won the Super Bowl, League. Cut the kid some credit, right?
No.
Cut him some slack. Come on.
The co-main event for the evening.
Anybody wins Super Bowls, these guys come out of the woods with these jerseys and hats and, oh yeah, I've always been an Eagles fan. That bullshit you were, but I get it. They just won.
At 6:30, Antonio Moran took on Jose Pedraza for the WBO Latino title. I'm sorry, it makes me laugh, people. It's not a real title. It's like something they made up for this event. Now, Moran is the guy for Top Rank. And, I mean, it was an interesting fight. I actually had Moran winning the fight by what I was looking at, but they gave it to Pedraza from Puerto Rico. And I'm not exactly sure which. I wanted to say that I thought going into the fight that Moran... and based on his record, I thought Moran was the superior fighter. Pedraza had been beat by Gervonta Davis literally TKO'd. So I figured he was already like a broken fighter. They beat the crap out of each other. Like, they beat each other up, and Pedraza got a majority decision and is now your new WBO Latino made-up bullshit title holder. What else do you guys want me to say on the topic? In the main event of the evening, 12 rounds of boxing in the welterweight division.
Lee, is your brother-in-law happy before the main event? Is he satisfied with the night so far, or is it a bore?
That's a good question. He's got a super high motor, so it's hard to say if Kevin was into it, because boxing can be a little slow, right?
Yes, especially on the undercard, man. When you're got a bunch of shamalama ding-dongs that aren't going anywhere. You know what I mean?
Are you getting involved again?
I know the answer to that.
Okay.
He just texted me that the fight was the best part of his trip.
The fight was the best part of his trip. Okay, so let me give the backstory on Kevin, my brother-in-law. He came out here because his girlfriend's birthday was this weekend. Originally, he was going to the river, and I was going to have to go. I had already bought the tickets, right? And for those of you who don't know, I go to LasVegasDiscount.net to arrange my rooms. Well, guess what? Once you buy your room on LasVegasDiscount.net, I don't buy the insurance because that's a $5 ripoff, which means I had a room and I had tickets. Well, Kevin didn't realize that he booked a trip with me on the same day as his girlfriend's that he lives with. Right, birthday. So he's like, dude, I got to go to the river. I said, cool, I'm going to go to Vegas. I was even debating making a phone call to Top Rank and getting my credential reinstated. But I had 2 tickets. So I invited my fiancée, who kindly said, okay, until she actually realized that I was going to take her to the fight. She was okay with the trip to Vegas. I said, you're going to go to the fight with me? She said, I'm not going to the spa. Those were her exact words, and I can't even make this shit up. I'm not going to the spa. No, you're going to go to the fight with me. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, do you need me to go? And then she said, do you need me to go to the fight with you? No, I don't need, but I have 2 tickets. This shit's really happening. I'm already debating putting the tickets up on our Facebook page and like giving them to a fan, and just I'm like, this is a fucking clusterfuck. And then, okay, so Kevin at the last minute goes, all right, I'm not going to the river. I'm going to Vegas. I said, you realize it's one of the busiest weekends in Vegas by far. Like, the prices are triple what they should be normally, right? Like, I booked this fight probably when it first went on sale. I booked the MGM for about $150 a night. Last night, the standard room, if you went on Priceline or LasVegasDiscount.net, you were looking at $224 a night or $300 a night. Like, it was dumb. It was dumb. And he tells me literally on Tuesday of this past week, all right, I'm going to go to Vegas for her birthday, and I'm going to go to the fight with you. Okay, let me find you a hotel, which I did. Got him a good rate. He's staying over at the new MGM Park, the Park MGM. It's all remodeled. Sweet. Yeah, it's right across. It's the one right next to T-Mobile. They got it all remodeled. It's all done. Well, not really, but it's better than it was. So he got in. I went down to the fight, gave him a ticket. He showed up. He showed up during their kids' fight, the kids' fight.
Flores, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he showed up during that. So he got to see that. He got to see the co-main, which was just kind of this ugly slugfest of dudes splitting each other open like melons. They were bleeders. They were both bleeders. And he got to see the main event. The main event, because as we sat there, and he still couldn't believe that we were sitting where we were sitting and nobody was moving us. I'm like, dude, white privilege. Oh, shit. Calm down.
Welcome to my life, huh?
Right? He said, how did you do that? Like, I even showed him how I did it. I said, there's actually 2 in the front row, 3 sections over to the right, and you'd be right in the middle. I said, I'm just too lazy to walk over there.
White, you can literally walk to that front row with your slippers on, and they wouldn't.
With my slippers on, and I literally how do I say this so it's not politically incorrect? Everybody else around me in the other vacant seats were not as lily white as I, okay? And I kept thinking, You know, if the shit hits the fan, I'm the only one who's going to get to stay in this section.
So stupid.
Because these guys are all getting stupid in this section. Somebody's going to start asking